What it is? It's your girl Black Pop, aka Soda Baby, aka Asuka. You're now tuned in to Soda Talks TV, so let's get into this Joseline's Cabaret review. So we on episode 5, and I don't know if I want to hate on Miss Wet Wet for being a cocky little, arrogant little self-centered bitch for making hoes react to her, or do I respect her for fighting for her hoes on her own, holding her own, or is K Capri just annoying because she's just not that attractive, big, and loud? Or, I mean, is she just playing her role because who else is going to whoop Miss Wet Wet? None of them other hoes. So, she just played her role. Anyway, so K Capri and Miss Wet Wet finally get to fight. And it's just like, K Capri, you're big as for no reason. Like, as big and long as you are, you ain't even beat her the up. Like, you was love tapping on her ass. I guess because you got them long ass nails, girl. You should have bit them off like any other hood would. These hoes fight like they so scared to get hit. That's the point. Like, there's no way you're not gonna get hit fighting. So open your eyes, let a pop you a couple times in your face so you can see what the going on. Because once you get hit a couple times, you're like, okay, it's not that bad, or you can finally concentrate on what you're doing. So K Capri and Wet Wet are fighting, and of course K Capri yanks off Wet Wet's wig. And with K Capri being cool with Raven and Diamond, they have her back in this. So Raven takes Wet Wet's wig and starts putting it on, doing these fake impressions of her and fake impressions of Nicki Minaj, talking about this one's for the guys with the cooling system, top down AC with the cooling system. And then Wet Wet starts talking shit. She starts walking up to them, and then Black Diamond pops Wet Wet in the head with a bottle, and then they start fighting. So that fight gets broken up. Then K Capri decides to cry and go snitch to Joss and talk about she's so disrespectful, I don't lose, I learn. She's disrespecting your company. She over here calling you Jay. So Wet Wet steady talking in the background, getting her mad, calling her a man, telling her to tuck her in, telling her to go use the men's bathroom, just getting K Capri mad as hell. So then K Capri gets a bottle of water and throws it at Wet Wet, and then Wet Wet throws a can of Red Bull at K Capri and it slashes her in the face. So that got her real heated, and she just started making a scene, going crazy, being extra how she usually do.
Get out of my way, Big Chris! Get out of my way! Let me get to her!
So now K Capri's bleeding, and she's extra mad because the security guard, Big Chris, is blocking her from getting to Wet Wet. K Capri decides to run and cry to Joss and talk about how she got cut in the face by Wet Wet with the can of Red Bull. But it's like, girl, what are you crying for? You should have never picked up that water bottle, and she would have never picked up the first thing that she saw to throw and land on your ass. So when she's over there snitching to Joseline, that's when Raven decides to run up on Miss Wet Wet and try and attempt to fight her, and ends up playing a ring around the rosy wood ass and ends up getting stomped. Run up, get done up. Then Wet Wet steady talking shit to K Capri, talking about how she's a man, she needs to take her meds and go use the men's bathroom, just aggravating the shit out of K Capri.
I want that bitch to look at this shit when I'm beating her ass again. Oh, bitch, you never whooped my ass, bitch. No.
Oh, bitch, you never whooped my ass. That shit had me so dead. Like, you see, K Capri just loud, just extra. Like, she is a real raging bull. Like, wave a red flag at her and she'll just go. Like, so of course she tries to hop on a Wet Wet like a wildebeest, and security catches her in time. That's when we go into the part when we find out that Black Diamond may have broke her arm fighting with Wet Wet. Not that Wet Wet broke her arm, but she f***ed herself up jumping in some shit that she didn't need to be a part of. So Joseline tells her to go to the hospital. She lets her know that she doesn't discriminate handicapped people, but maybe if she comes back, figures out how she is, she can come back and be a sexy bitch with a cast on. So that's when Joseline goes to check on Wet Wet to see how Wet Wet's doing and get Wet Wet's perspective on everything in the house and all the fights. And Joseline lets her know that she needs to get dressed, put her wig back on, because they're about to get ready and go back home. And if they want to fight, they can fight at nighttime, because in the morning time, she don't like noise in the morning. So at nighttime, it's cool. Then Wet goes to another room to get her stuff and get dressed. And then out pops a surprise. You guessed it, Gaia. Gaia creepy hiding under the table talking about some, oh, all this fighting just reminds me of how my mom used to get beat up every day, and how she has a spiritual message for Wet from the Lord, talking about, in the name of Jesus I call forth your light, cast this demon out in your name, oh Lord. She just starts doing the exorcism on her ass.
Out of my family! Out, demon! You will not bother my kids anymore! You will not bother my husband! Get out of my family! Get out! You're done!
Picks her up, slams her, and just starts trying to cast the demon out. Security breaks it up, and by this time Wet is just heated, and she just is ready to just beat the brakes off of Gaia because she feels like she got the best of her, really off guard. So that's when they move it to, I guess, towards like where the club and the seating area is. Then Joseline finds out and hears that what's going on. Wet and security tell Joseline about how Gaia popped up at where Wet was trying to change at by herself and tries to do an exorcism on her. Joseline calls on Gaia to come out and tell her side of the story, and everyone is saying that Gaia is lying and that she fought Wet, trying to use the excuse of the Bible and exorcism to like slam her to the ground. So Joseline lets them square up and she lets them fight, and Wet clunked her pinata fucking bear hugging ass. Girl, your big wrestling face ass. All you do is hug people's legs and talk about some you a body slamming ass. Girl, bye. And then security breaks up that fight, and then we go into a scene where Wet just starts telling us about her life story, and then how the girls in the house are just always hating on her because she's different, and how she knows the struggle and she's had a hard life, and how both of her parents were on drugs, and she was abused by family members, and she had to raise herself at 14 and leave the house early, and she's been in and out of the homeless shelters, and she recently just got out of the homeless shelter 2 years ago. But the question for me is, girl, how you just got the homeless shelter? The first thing you get is 2 brand new titties. Priorities up. But who am I to judge? She on a show with a whole bunch of $2. That's her prerogative. Gotta use what you got to get what you want. So Joseline meets back up with the girls as a group to recap and go over everything, and she lets them know that instead of celebrating at the club, they're gonna go home and celebrate. And K Capri's making a scene talking about how she'll beat Wet's every day if she comes, and she's just making a scene as usual. They end up having Wet go to a hotel, and then the rest of the house will go back home. And it looks like things may get a little bit lighter in the next episode because certain people aren't there anymore, but of course Wet comes back, so that's always going to change the dynamic. So we'll see how things goes when Wet comes back in the house. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Whose team are you on? Are you on Wet Miss Wet, or are you on K Capri? And who do you think's gonna fight next? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at It's Black Pop. That's my main page. So Sox TV, my backup page, and we're gonna get into this next video.